Hello, good people of YouTube. LuckyMias205 over here, and this time we're gonna review Iron Blood, perhaps the luckiest submarine to survive the war. Well, almost closely. Closely to survive to the end of the war. U-96. Now, U-96 history is a very interesting, I have to tell ya. Now, this is from the Wikipedia. I have to actually do some research first, because I finally found the answers about the questions I had about this submarine. And the first, I'm gonna say this on quote on the Wikipedia. German submarine U-96, 1940. But there's also German submarine U-96. But I'm not sure, is this? Yes, this is the same. Excuse me. German submarine 96 was type 7C U-boat on the German Navy Kriegsmarine during World War II. It was made famous after the war in Lothar Gunther Buchheim's, I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name, 1973 best-selling novel Das Boot, and the 1981 Oscar-nominated film adaptation and the same name, both based on his experience on the submarine as a war correspondent in 1941. The keel was laid down on 16 September 1939 by Germanian Werft, of Kiel as yard number 601. She was commissioned on 14 September 1940. I'm gonna say the lieutenant, with Captain Lieutenant Heinrich Lehmann Willenbrock in command. Lehmann Willenbrock was relieved in March 1942 by Oberleutnant zur See Hans-Jürgen Hellriegel, who was relieved in turn in March 1943 by Wilhelm Peters. In February 1944, OBLD ZS Horst Wilner took command, turning the boat over to back to Robert Riggs in June of that year. Riggs commanded the boat until 15 February 1945. And she had a total 11 patrols starting from 4th December 1940, and her last 11th was 26th December. 8th February 1943. And she has 27 were her victories, 27 merchant ships sunk, 1 merchant ship total loss, 4 merchant ships damaged. And there was one point where she was final fate. There was a picture mentioning of that. 11th patrol. The boat's final operational patrol commenced with her departure from Saint-Nazaire on 26 December 1942. Crossing the Atlantic for the last time, she then came back to the eastern side, and after transferring a sick crew member to U-163 on 3rd January 1943, arrived at Königsberg, now Kaliningrad, Russia, on 8 February. After active service, she spent most of the rest of the war as a training vessel. She was decommissioned on 15 February 1945 in Wilhelmshaven, when the US 8th Air Force attacked Wilhelmshaven on 13 March 1945. U-96 was sunk in Ypres Basin. The remains of the U-boat were broken up after the war. And see, there's a books of her, films and video games in a U-boat. The U-boat is also featured in a mobile game Azur in Anthropomorphized 4. Anthropomorphized 4. What? Okay, that's an interesting quote. Well, she is quite famed, I have to say. Well known amongst other German U-boats. But I highly recommend that you take a deeper look about 96 historical career. Even I am surprised, and that actually gives me the answers, her personality as well. And as for the Type 7, well, she's a 7C variation. Before there's a 7C-41 variation, but oh well. Now, as for the stats, if we go with the base numbers in a level 125, I will say this now forward. Although her base torpedo stat is 543, if you keep her in level 125, there is a Sakura Empire submarine I-404, that is ultra rare Sakura Empire submarine. Well, they actually go toe to toe with each other. But there is also a U-47 super rare airable submarine with a 537 torpedo stat. So interestingly, if you go with the base stats, excuse me, the 96 and 404 actually go toe to toe. But only the Leonardo da Vinci from Sardinia Empire with the 445 torpedo stats can go above it. What if you oath her and actually give her 3% more stats? She can actually reach some interesting heights, although by 3% only. As usually, we focus on the HP, oxygen, torpedoes, and of course submarine range. But because we now mentioned about her torpedo stats, we are now focusing on the rest of her stats, meaning her HP currently in this oath variation is 1414. She can survive a little bit, but the only thing that keeps her alive is the oxygen. Now her oxygen is 188, meaning she has closely to 19 seconds or below 19 seconds stay underwater. Some reason, I don't know why. Which is, I recommend giving her improved snorkel, giving her extra 8-5 or 8.5 seconds more underwater time. And as for her submarine range, it is a fascinating one. Oh, now I think where this that is actually a fish. Why? Well, if you actually search 96 history, this is 1940s, her badge is literally a laughing sawfish emblem. So no wonder. It took me a while, actually right now, to realize this is a sawfish, resembling sawfish, which is very clever actually. Pixel art, literally pixel art. She has augment module, so let's go with the torpedo stats. Both of her torpedo stats are 125%, which is very good. As for her secondary gun, it's only decorations. Now as for her augment module, it's a special mix, do not drink. Giving her 35 torpedo stats and hit ratio to 20. Increases this ship's torpedo crit rate by 10%. And improving her smiling surface skill. So we're gonna focus on the plus side. Increases this both torpedo by 10% and torpedo crit rate by 20%. At the beginning of the battle, fires level 10 torpedo barrage. Pattern and damage based on the skills level. If there are other ships afloat in your submarine fleet, this barrage pattern is further improved. Oh, and of course, if we go with all-out assault, it is a very hefty torpedo barrage. Now Wolfpack formation U-96 increases accuracy by 10% and crit damage by 15% for all your Ironblood submarines. Additionally, for each Ironblood submarine in your fleet, increases this boat's accuracy, reload and evasion by 6%. This is something you really want to keep around when you are doing Ironblood submarine fleets. This is very helpful individual to your fleet. Now, do you want to keep her as a flagship or the somewhere next to the flagship? It's up to you. Now that I think about it, having the Sawfish designed submarine brains might not be bad after all. This is actually well balanced. It almost takes every pixel in every range pixel over here. Attack and support range, well, submarine support range. Not bad at all. As for the skins, well, she gets some of them. Oh, so let's start with a base design. Now that I look at it, it almost reminds me the 556 design. Almost. It differs slightly, but it reminds me that rigging about the 556 design. But not quite. They are slightly different, but closely enough. Closely enough. Now then, her character design is not bad, it is well covered. Is that skin suit? Swimming suit? Well designed to underwater activity. Now as for her other skins, secret gaming session, very interesting design, I have to admit. Then there's a how heavy are those barbells? Well, she is in the exercise area, and then Wolf and Dolly, a race design. Interesting designs, I will admit, interesting designs. But now let's put those skins aside. I gave her Mark 20 bidder submarine torpedo, which is magnetic, and second one, of course, it's from the Royal Navy, and second one is the Type 95 submarine torpedo from the Sakura Empire. The normal performances. I gave her Type 93 pure oxygen torpedo, giving her extra torpedo and reload stats. And then there's the Ironblood improved snorkel, giving her extra oxygen to stay underwater a little bit longer. Now I think I have. I've been yapping enough. Now I'm gonna give my final thoughts about 96. Alright, commanders. Lucky Mia's voiceover over here. And yes, U-96. I have to admit, she's a good ship. With a smiling surface and wolfpack formation and the all-out assault that can also be improved. Well, let's start with the smiling surface plus. I'm gonna read this again. Increases disposed torpedo by 20% and torpedo crit rate by 20%. At the beginning of battle, fires level 10 torpedo barrage. Pattern and damage are based on the skills level. If there are other ships afloat in your submarine fleet, this barrage's pattern is further improved. Well, she has a really very strong start. Hard to pick the right words. Oh yes, and the thing I was actually wondering about her personality, she's a very mature. And I actually appreciate that for once in a while amongst other submarines. Although her body size might actually lie about what type of personality she has. But also my memory a little bit gives me the hint that thanks to her sharp eyes, some were actually thinking about, is she siren or what? And I have to admit, I too was also wondering that, thanks to her eyes shape? Pupils? What do you call them in English? But still, very mature personality, and I actually appreciate that for once in a while when you are dealing a lot about the submarines related. And some of them are personality-wise below 18 age, shall we say. But the 96, yes, it's very nice change of pace. Now, as for the torpedoes I have in her, I will admit there are way better choices than the ones I already have. Mark 20 bitter submarine torpedo, it has magnetic capabilities made by Royal Navy, and also the G7E acoustic submarine torpedo. Well, damage is 160 and the other is 176, but it launches 3 while the other launches 2. But the reload is noticeable difference, like a G7E has 12 and the Mark 20 bitter submarine torpedo has almost 21 seconds reload time, so pick your armament, shall we say. And also, if she already increases her torpedo by 10% and torpedo crit rate by 20%, I will recommend that you find a suitable equipment and auxiliaries that you can actually benefit from it. And because this is universal, like let's just say most of the Iron Blood submarines tend to have something like dealing most of the damage to the destroyers or light cruisers or light armored enemies, shall we say. It is or carriers, like certain U-boat that made some fatal hit to the Ark Royal. Yes, I will say. something like universally increasing crit rate and crit damage. Universally, doesn't care what type of enemy. It's very nice. Yes, it's very nice indeed. I have to say, I still struggle personally a little bit with the submarine torpedoes, like which one is the best and which one is the not recommended, and still working on it. Even though I'm still going through the 96, and there are still other future submarines to go through, but still, I'm doing my best here. Either way, the 96. Oh, by the way, where you can get 96 anyway? 96. You can get her. Oh, she first time appeared in Churchill of Iron and Blood rerun event, meaning she is almost as old as Bismarck was released. I forgot that. And you can get her from Requisition and a medal shop. Medal shop, yes. 80 points and Requisition for Medal of Honor. Yeah, you have to grind some good amount of medals to actually get this submarine, but she's worth it, I will say. She's a worthy submarine to have. And when you have other Ironblood submarines that can actually increase your damage deal and all that jazz, she can actually pack a punch if you build her correctly. I personally focus on her survivability and her submarine range to make them more useful, but with the very good range, you don't have to spend too much oil just to reposition them again and using them again. But the only sad part is about submarine, they only have 6 turns to be used. Way less compared to Tempesta, so that's a bit downside. But what can you do? What can you do? Perhaps somewhere in the future we can actually have some type of auxiliary submarines, like a certain German submarine that was carrying very fascinating cargo to Japan until Royal Navy submarine obliterated the poor thing to the bottom of the ocean. So I don't know. Perhaps some kind of auxiliary submarine that can actually increase the ammunition very good amount, shall we say, but sacrifices hopefully main gun slot, because honestly, after going all of these submarines, I'm starting to think that is the secondary gun really that important? I think the torpedoes are the main benefit from here. But I say I have nothing against her. She's a very good submarine, very good, although old. She has her own augment module, but nevertheless she's a very good submarine from the Ironblood, I will admit. With the barrages and the extra barrage and really good vault pack formation as well. Only thing she requires is a really good commander who knows about the submarines and their equipments and auxiliaries. Now then, I guess that's all I can actually think of about 96. She's a very worthy submarine to have. My name is LuckyMias205. Now, please remember to hit the bell icon so you don't miss future content as well, and notifications. Thank you so much for watching, please take yourselves, and I hope to see you in the next one.
ゃないわ。邪魔者を排除する。言ったろ、私がお前のために戦果をくれてやるって。